Hey friends, welcome back. I asked you to give me some questions so I could do a Q&A and y'all delivered. You asked all of the juicy questions and I'm here to give you some answers. If you're new here, I'm Becca. I'm a single mom to 3 boys and I do lifestyle vlogging, motherhood content over here. If you like real life and just, you know, no filter, you'll like it here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around. All right, let's hop right into this Q&A. The first question, do your parents still live in Connecticut? No, my mother lives in Florida. My father never lived in Connecticut. He is from Jersey and he's always lived in Jersey, but I have no contact with my mom. I've been no contact with my mom for about 5 years and my parents divorced whenever my mom was pregnant with me. So I never really had a relationship with my dad. I obviously know who he is. I know where he's from. I know very like baseline stuff, but I don't have a relationship with him. I never have, but he's in Jersey. So my mom's side of the family is from Connecticut. However, my mom was a Coast Guard brat. So she traveled a lot through her youth, but they mostly stayed like on the East Coast, like northern East Coast. I do have some family still there. It's a very small amount and it's like the younger generations and stuff. So most of my family has kind of like, you know, my grandparents passed away. My mom moved, my sister moved well before I did. And then, you know, some of my cousins have moved. It's just, everybody's kind of spread throughout now, but no, my parents are not still in Connecticut. Next question, what did you do before YouTube? Before YouTube, when I quit my job, the last job I had, I was pregnant with Tristan, who is my 6-year-old. I was pregnant with him and I was working weekends at a bar and it was like a live venue bar. I loved that job. I loved it. But the reason I ended up in that job is because I worked at the CDC on base, which is the daycare. And I absolutely loved that job as well. I loved that job. I love working with little kids. I love little kids. It was such a good job, but Grayson was a newborn and he was also in the daycare and almost all of my paycheck was going to him being in that same daycare and I couldn't work in his room. So like I would take my lunch breaks and I would go and like nurse him or hang out with him. But I couldn't actually work in his room. Obviously it's like conflict of interest. So I didn't really get to spend the day with him, but I was like, I was being paid to raise somebody else's child while I was paying them to raise my child. It didn't work out. I wasn't making barely any money after paying for childcare. So Chris and I had decided that I would just work at the bar on the weekends because at the time I was working at the bar, but I only worked there for really big live events where they needed extra hands. So it was like every now and then I made really good money doing that. And on the weekends he didn't work, so we didn't have to pay for childcare. So it was just financially better for me to be home during the week with the kids, right? And then also on the weekends, he could be with the kids, I could work. It was the most, like, we made more money doing it that way. And at the time we did rely on my income. So that is what I did before. And I would love to get back into like the CDC and I love working with kids. However, it just isn't practical right now. And obviously what I'm doing is working and I love doing YouTube more than anything. So, I mean, I'm gonna stick with this for as long as I can, but that is what I used to do. Have you dated since your divorce? Not really. I have definitely crossed paths with people and I've gotten to know people, but I haven't dated and I haven't like put myself out there to date. Is your divorce final? No, my divorce is not final. In the state of South Carolina, you have to be separated for 1 year and 1 day. And I have been separated for 2 years, but right now for our circumstance, it is better for us to stay married than to finalize our divorce. And I don't want to go into detail on that because I just don't want to put myself in a bind on here saying something that could be wrong. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but if you've been around for a long time, I'm assuming you could probably summarize why we're still married. If you could do one thing without worrying about your kids or what it would cost, what would it be? I'm not really sure what this is in reference to, like a vacation or like a life upgrade or like a job. I'm gonna take it like if I could go anywhere, do anything without worrying about the cost or my kids, what would it be? I want to go take a trip at a like beach bungalow, like that's on the ocean where like, you know, they have the glass at the bottom and you can see like the ocean underneath. It's like my bucket list, one of my dreams to go vacation at a place like that at some point in time in my life. I can't afford to do that now. I mean, those are so expensive, but if money was not an issue and I didn't have to worry about my kids, because it's not something my kids would want to do, and I think a lot of those resorts are like adult only anyways, that is what I would choose to do. How are you doing health-wise and with your headaches? I haven't said anything because I don't want to jinx it. I have not had my spinal leak headaches in quite a few months, right? And I didn't want to say anything and jinx it because there has been times where like they haven't been as prominent and then all of a sudden it like kicks right back in or whatever, because my leak is whatever the pressure is coming from. It's not like a continual leak. So obviously something in the pressure in my spine makes it worse at times than others. But I can say consistently now for the last 2 months, I have not had a single headache. So I know whenever I got so when I got the last spinal tap where they did the blood patch, I don't know how much of this I said on here. I'm not even sure if I was doing vlogs at the time, but I got a spinal tap and I got the blood patch. I had an immediate like pressure headache because it closed it, which is great, but the headache was literally so severe for 3 days. Like I couldn't eat, I was getting sick. Like it was the most pain I think I've ever been in my entire life, on top of natural childbirth. Like it was bad, bad, bad. My eyes hurt. I couldn't focus on anything. It was really, really painful. They prescribed me medicine. I had to double up on that medication, but he was like, this is a good sign. That means that your leak is closed. But I noticed about a month later that my headaches were coming back, and they weren't as bad as they were previously. Like they weren't as frequent as they were previously, but they were still there. And I was like, great. So, and they said that I might have to do it twice after finding the leak, but they also said it can take up to 6 months to like actively work and to completely close. So fingers crossed that short stint of getting them back was kind of just like maybe like a finalization, like just really sealing it up. I don't know, but I do have a doctor's appointment in about a week, and I'm gonna talk to him, let him know what's going on. As of right now, things are great. No more headaches. Next question, how is Colby doing? Colby is doing great. He's working. He just recently got a promotion at work. I'm so excited for him. He's actually like, he's falling into himself is the best way to say it. If you don't know who Colby is, it's my 19-year-old son. He graduated a year ago and he's just been getting in the work field. He's already got a promotion. He's doing great. He's saving up to hopefully buy like a townhouse or condo, and so he's got plans and he's got the drive to do it. The economy is not great right now for young kids starting out on their own, so who knows when that'll happen for him, but he has goals, he has plans, he's doing great, and I'm so proud of him. What is your next project? As of right now, my plan, I'm going to paint the whole downstairs. I'm going to start downstairs, eventually work my way upstairs. I'm not going to film any of that because it would be boring. I don't think anybody wants to watch that anyways. However, I am going to paint the whole downstairs when I come back from Connecticut. That's what I'm going to start working on. But the next like project is going to be probably my bedroom. It's either going to be my bedroom or my bathroom, because I have big plans for my bathroom. I really, really want to give it a huge facelift. I'm just tired of looking at it. I'm tired of looking at the gray. My bedroom, same thing. Like I just really want, my style has changed so much. I'm still a little indecisive what I'm going to do, because sometimes I'm like, I want to paint this accent wall again. I don't know if I want to paint it black. I don't know if I want to paint it like a blushy pink since it's just me, and then do the rest of the colors like dark and moody in my room. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but definitely a facelift in my room. I'm not going to do any huge projects in here though, because I already did the accent wall and stuff, so there's no point in that. But the bathroom is going to be a big one, like new fixtures, new mirrors, like, you know, accent walls, all that kind of stuff. I'm really excited. I already have plans on what I want and I'm so excited. So those are the next two things. And then eventually we're gonna get in the kitchen and we're gonna do some painting, the pantry. So those will be the next few projects. If you feel anxious and overwhelmed, what do you do to calm your mind? I guess it depends on what the reason is and what's going on in my life. I went to therapy for quite a few years. This last year, I only really go when I need it. So I go probably like once every few months just to kind of check in with her, or if something comes up and I feel like I really just need to talk to her or like get a sound mind opinion or something. What she has taught me in the past is a lot of, I think it's like sight, smell, and sound. So like you want to pull yourself back. So that's usually what I do. I will like regulate my breathing. Like if I'm really, really feeling anxious, I will regulate my breathing. That's like the first thing I focus on. I will smell something, like say a candle that like has a really like nostalgic smell for me, or like just a really like calming smell for me that like brings me peace, I'll smell that, or like a body spray or whatever. Just like little things like that. But honestly, it's not that often that I get anxious. If I'm being honest, most of the time, more of my issue is like falling into a hole is the best way to put it. Like, it's not like pure depression, but it's like falling at a baseline of like coexisting, I guess would be the best way to say it. I'm like just surviving. Like, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's like the current moment in my life. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that is usually what I struggle with. And sometimes it's from just being overwhelmed. What I'll usually do is just kind of like journal and remind myself like, this is a moment in time and it will pass, and I've survived this long. I will get through anything. I'm not sure if that helps, but I hope it helps. All right, probably like the juiciest and the questions that everybody wants the answer to. Let's get into this. Do you ever think about you and Chris getting back together or just staying friends? I always say never say never. Never say never about anything. Like, I try not to be the person who like says that could never happen. It would never happen. Do I see it happening? No. I see us staying friends. I see us co-parenting together. We get along really well. I hope that that doesn't ever change. Even if we bring other people into the mix and stuff, I hope that we can still co-parent the same way we do and still stay friends the way we do, because this just works really well. But of course, I know that, you know, when you bring other people into the situation, you know, there can be jealousy, or there can be like, some people don't want to be that close with, you know, the mother of their significant other's children, whatever, ex, you know, some people don't want to. That's just not a comfortable situation for them, and I get that, but I hope that things never change. However, I don't see us ever getting back together. I've gone through a lot in the last 2 years. I've done a lot of healing. I've navigated to where I feel like I know where I want to be. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I value in a relationship, and if I'm being honest, I just don't think that that is what I can get from him and I being together. And that's the most I'm gonna say, just because if there weren't any kids involved, I would be completely 100% honest with you guys about why I feel the way I feel or whatever, because it's not a dig on him. It's not a dig on me. It's just a difference of what we want, to be honest, at the end of the day. But I do have kids, and this is on the internet, and I don't ever want to do anything or say anything to make things difficult for them or to paint their dad in a light or anything like that. So for me, I just know what I want, and I don't think I can get it in that relationship. Do you want to start dating soon? I'm not against dating. I am just very selective and very picky, because once again, I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for in a relationship, and my standards, I'm not gonna lie to you, my standards are very high, especially in the area I'm in. I don't think I am going to easily find what it is I want in another human, in another person, or what I think I need, right, to have a healthy relationship with somebody. I don't think I'm gonna easily find that. So I'm not against dating. My standards are very high, and until I come across that, I'm not gonna waste my time on like trying to date other people and see where it's gonna go. Or I have no interest in like being on app and like trying to find people that way. Like, I'm all about meeting somebody organically, and if that happens and I click with somebody, I'm all for dating. But I'm not like trying to date, if that makes sense. Okay, this is the last question. Are you currently planning on staying in your house? I got this question a few times over, and I don't have an answer for you. Unfortunately, I don't know. That's an answer that I don't even know. I go back and forth many times. I have talked about moving back to Connecticut. That is something that I have considered. That's something that I will always consider. I miss Connecticut. I do. There's a lot of aspects, a lot of things, especially the last couple of years. Like, I've really missed Connecticut, to be honest. But Connecticut is very expensive compared to South Carolina. The taxes are way more expensive. And even where I live now, financially, which I'm always about making smart financial decisions, financially, it would be best for me to stay in this house. I have a very low interest rate. When I bought this house, I mean, houses are probably 20% more than what they were when I bought this house. So even if I sold this house and stayed in this area, I could not rent an apartment or a house. I couldn't buy another house and keep the mortgage I have now. So financially, it's best if I stay in this house. But I also want to move back north. So we're just gonna have to wait it out the next couple years, and hopefully we can figure it out together, because I have no idea. All right, friends, that is it for today's Q&A. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for submitting your questions. I always love doing these. They're a lot of fun, and I feel like it's a great way for me to connect with with you guys and kind of catch you up, because obviously sometimes when I do vlogs, I'm kind of just talking. Nobody's talking back. So I don't always know what you guys want or what you're curious of or anything. So I like to do these every so often just to give you guys the opportunity to ask the questions maybe you've been thinking of. And yeah, that's what's currently going on in my life. So if you're new here, I hope you choose to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.